Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the podcast. And today, I'm going to give my review of Monday Night Raw. Starting off tonight, we have the newly crowned Women's World Champion, Naomi. She comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. Naomi says the fans weren't feeling the glow. Naomi then says that she didn't betray Bianca. She just outgrew her. Naomi said that she was tired of playing second fiddle to Bianca and Jade Cargill. She was not a third wheel. After that, Naomi is interrupted by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley comes out to the ring, grabs a microphone. Rhea says that she's not cautious. She's just pissed off. Rhea says that Naomi is on her list. After that, both Rhea and Naomi are interrupted by the former Women's World Champion, Io Sky. Io Sky comes out to the ring, she grabs a microphone and tells Rhea to get in line. Io then says she wants her title back. Naomi then mocks Io and Rhea Ripley. Adam Pearce is here. Pearce then congratulates Naomi and welcomes Naomi to Monday Night Raw. After that, Pearce announces that the fact that SummerSlam is not only one, but two nights for the first time ever in WWE history, that they had to have pretty much a bang. And what better way to do that than for Pearce to announce that it will be Io Sky versus Naomi versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World title at this year's SummerSlam. Some interesting stuff there from Pearce, and definitely a match that I'm definitely looking forward to between Naomi, Rhea, and Io Sky. Moving on from that, we go into our first official match of Monday Night Raw. It is the Kabuki Warriors teaming up to take on Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. I thought it was a good match, man. Back and forth matchup between both teams with Raquel and Roxanne Perez keeping the pace of the match. Dominic Mysterio was ringside. He distracts the referee, but Asuka ends up seeing Dominic Mysterio. She ends up attacking Dominic. But this allowed Roxanne Perez to capitalize on the distraction, hits a roll-up on Asuka, pins for the 3. And your winners of the match are Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. Moving on from that, we got a 2 out of 3 falls match where the winner will move on to face Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam. It is Lyra Valkyria taking on Bayley. I thought it was a great match. Back and forth matchup between Lyra and Bayley, with Bayley quickly hitting a roll-up on Lyra Valkyria, pins for the 3. Bayley gets the first fall of the match. Lyra and Bayley then both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Lyra trying to keep the pace of the match. Lyra hits a roll-up of her own on Bayley, pins for the 3. Lyra then gets the second fall of the match. Bayley then hits a Bayley to belly on Lyra for a near fall. Lyra gets up, hits a gut-wrench powerbomb on Bayley for a near fall. Lyra then goes to the outside with Bayley, hits a fisherman suplex off the apron on Bayley that looked absolutely brutal. Bayley then gets up, hits a sunset powerbomb into the steel steps on Lyra Valkyria, followed by Bayley hitting an elbow drop off the top rope for a near fall. But Lyra gets up, hits a Nightwing on Bayley, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match, and moving on to face Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam, is Lyra Valkyria. Hats off to Lyra Valkyria for getting the win in this matchup. Moving on from that, we go into our next match of the night. It's Nikki Bella taking on Chelsea Green. The match itself was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Nikki Bella and Green, with Nikki keeping the pace of the match. Nikki hits a Hurricane Rana on Chelsea in the middle of the ring, followed by Nikki hitting the finish, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match is Nikki Bella. After the match, Piper Niven and Alba Fyre attack Nikki Bella. Stephanie Vacure's music hits. She comes out to the ring. She attacks both Piper Niven and Alba Fyre, pretty much saving Nikki Bella from the attack. Moving on from that, we got Gunther. Gunther walks out to the ring. Gunther talks about retiring Goldberg and that the myth is over. Goldberg then mocks Goldberg by saying, "Who's next?" After that, Braun Breaker is here with Paul Heyman. They interrupt Gunther. Heyman then goes to shake Gunther's hand. Gunther then cuts Heyman off. Breaker and Gunther then get face-to-face in the middle of the ring. Heyman says that Breaker is the next big thing, or the next big dog. Some interesting stuff there between Braun Breaker and Gunther. Speaking of Braun Breaker, we go into our main event of the night. It's a gauntlet match where the winner will move on at SummerSlam to face Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. We start off with Braun Breaker taking on Penta. The match itself between Breaker and Penta was a good match. Back and forth matchup between Breaker and Penta, with Breaker keeping the pace of the match. Penta hits a Hurricane Rana on Breaker. Penta then goes for a springboard maneuver on Breaker, but Breaker quickly hits a spear out of nowhere on Penta, pins for the 3, and Penta is now eliminated from this matchup. LA Knight is the next entrant in the match. Knight and Breaker both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Knight hitting an elbow drop off the top rope on Breaker for a near fall. Breakker then goes for a Hurricane Rana, but Knight counters it with a devastating powerbomb for a near fall. Breakker then out of nowhere hits a spear on LA Knight, pins for the 3. LA Knight is now eliminated from this match. Jey Uso is the next entrant. Jey then quickly gets to the match, attacks Bron Breakker. He hits a mid-match yeet chant in the middle of the match, which I thought was kind of odd. Jey then hits an Uso splash off the top rope, coming back from commercial break for a near fall. Breakker then hits a Frankensteiner off the top rope on Jey for a near fall. Jey then hits a spear of his own on Breakker for a near fall, but Reed then attacks Jey Uso. This allowed Bron Breakker to hit a spear on Jey, pins for the 3. Jey Uso is now eliminated from the match. CM Punk is the final entrant of the match. Punk quickly attacks Bron Breakker, seeing the fact that Breakker was fatigued throughout the match. Breakker, though, somehow gets a boost of energy, hits a Frankensteiner on Punk, but Punk turns it into a roll-up for a near fall. Punk and Breakker both exchange in the middle of the ring, with Punk hitting an elbow drop off the top rope on Breakker. Punk then applies an Anaconda Vice, but the hold is broken by Reed. Reed attacks CM Punk. Jey Uso comes out to the ring. He attacks Bronson Reed. This allowed Punk to hit a GTS on Bron Breakker, pins for the 3. And your winner of the match is CM Punk. After the match, Bronson Reed then attacks CM Punk. Breakker hits a spear on Jey as well as CM Punk. Then all of a sudden, you can see Bronson Reed going to the top rope, trying to hit a tsunami on both Jey Uso and CM Punk. But all of a sudden, music hits, and it's none other than the return of Roman Reigns. The Tribal Chief has returned. Roman comes out to the ring. He quickly hits a Superman punch on Bronson Reed, as well as Bron Breakker. And then Roman sets up for a spear. He ends up hitting a spear on Bron Breakker, and then he stares down Paul Heyman, Bron Breakker, and Bronson Reed. A couple of things I'm going to talk about here, man, when it pertains to Monday Night Raw. Number one, it's great to see Roman Reigns back. And I really want to talk about this because obviously, I've been saying it for the past couple of weeks that Roman return to WWE was imminent. It was bound to happen. I knew he was going to return before SummerSlam. Obviously, SummerSlam is taking place August 2nd and August 3rd in August, live from the MetLife Stadium. So obviously, they're going to be setting up this card. This card should be stacked, concerning the fact that this is the first time ever in WWE's history that SummerSlam has not only one, but 2 nights back-to-back. So it was only a matter of time until we saw Roman. And to be honest with you, they kind of had to pull the plug on bringing Roman in. Because, obviously Seth Rollins got injured during the Saturday Night's Main Event match that he had with LA Knight. A lot of people were up in arms on what was going to be next for Seth Rollins. Was he going to vacate the Money in the Bank briefcase? How legitimately injured is Seth Rollins? Will he be back sooner than later? We don't know. We don't know the significance of the injury right now with Seth Rollins. What we do know is that Seth Rollins is injured, and he was also not shown on Monday Night Raw last night. So clearly there's some kind of injury that's going to be keeping Seth Rollins away from TV maybe for a little while. But bringing back, Roman, obviously there's some heat there between Bron Breakker and Roman Reigns, especially with Paul Heyman at the realm of this new stable being headlined by Seth Rollins. A lot of people were asking me, how do you see Roman Reigns coming back, and how do you see Roman Reigns having his first match back, in the fold of WWE? The way I look at it is a couple ways. Number one, we saw CM Punk get the win last night, so we know CM Punk will move on to SummerSlam to face Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. So Punk and Gunther is pretty much tied up leading up to this year's SummerSlam. So that leaves Roman. I think Roman, the way it's either one or two things are going to happen. We're going to see Roman Reigns taking on Bron Breakker at SummerSlam this year, or we're going to see Roman Reigns teaming up with Jey Uso to take on Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker in a tag team matchup at this year's SummerSlam. Now, with that being said, to me, honestly, I still believe Roman Reigns will be floating back and forth, whether it be both Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. I still believe that Roman will be a part of this Jacob Fatu situation with Solo Sikoa and the MFTs. It's just, it makes complete sense. And I don't see Roman Reigns just strictly staying on one specific brand on WWE. He's going to be floating back and forth, whether it's Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. So, to me, I think what we're going to get at SummerSlam is going to be Roman Reigns possibly teaming up with Jey Uso to take on Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed, or we get Roman Reigns taking on Bron Breakker. Either way, it's going to be a really good match, and I think SummerSlam this year is going to be absolutely incredible. Match of the night for me, honestly, it would have to be Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. The 2 out of 3 falls match. This was one of the best women's matches besides Rhea and Io that I've seen in quite some time. It was a really good matchup. And I look forward towards Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I think it's going to be a really good matchup. We can, maybe we'll see Lyra Valkyria, regain once again the Women's Intercontinental Championship. To be honest with you, I think out of the two, I think the Women's Intercontinental Championship is getting a lot more traction than the Women's U.S. Championship, even though Julia is the current title holder for the U.S. Women's Champion. I just feel like the Intercontinental Championship for the women's get a lot more, spotlight, if you will. I mean, honestly, for what it's worth, I think for the first 30 minutes to an hour of this show last night was mainly about the women. Literally coming right out of Evolution, man. They came out strong. Adam Pearce makes this huge announcement that it'll be Naomi, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley for the women's world title at SummerSlam in a triple threat matchup. Definitely a high-profile matchup, man. It's going to be very telling to see who walks out at SummerSlam women's world champion. Will it be Naomi? Will it be Io Sky or Rhea Ripley? My thing is, it is going to be very telling because are they going to want to hot potato this championship right off of Naomi and for somebody else, whether it be Io or Rhea Ripley? It's going to be very telling to see what happens. We know Jade Cargill has a high-profile matchup against Tiffany Stratton for the Women's World Championship, so obviously her attention's on Tiffany Stratton leading into this year's SummerSlam. So I don't think she'll be involved in this triple threat match with Naomi, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. But again, man, for what it's worth, it's great to see Roman back. I'm happy that Roman's back. And you can tell that there was something cooking here with just how Paul Heyman and how he was talking leading up to the main event, calling Braun Breaker the next big thing and the big dog, and a lot of similarities to what Roman Reigns used to be known as. So it was kind of ironic, and then we see Roman finally return. Now, everybody's been patiently waiting to see Roman's return, and now we get him returning back to WWE, and now we're full steam ahead leading into this year's SummerSlam. And this year's SummerSlam is going to be incredible. I mean, if we're looking at the narrative right now, you're looking at John Cena, Cody Rhodes. You're looking at, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. You're looking at CM Punk versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. I'm sure there will be a U.S. title match on the line because it's two nights. Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton. You have, I would see, like I said, man, tag team title matches on the line. There's going to be a lot of very telling matches leading into this year's SummerSlam. And it's the party of the summer, man. And I think this year is actually not going to disappoint. I think SummerSlam is going to be really good from top to bottom. We got Rhodes and Cena, Punk, Gunther. We have a possible tag team matchup with Roman and Jay taking on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, or Roman versus Braun Breaker. So that's going to be a very interesting match in itself. So we're going to see how this plays out, man. But I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. I'm not going to sit here and say this was the best Monday Night Raw of all time. Damn sure it was not the worst. I think, obviously with Roman back into the fold of things, we're going to see how this is going to slowly play into SummerSlam because, it was already pretty much premeditated the fact that Roman was going to be a part of this year's SummerSlam. There was no way in hell they were going to have SummerSlam without Roman. So now that we see Roman back, we're going to see who he's going to challenge for SummerSlam. Seth Rollins is, honestly, for what it's worth, on paper, bro, if you really look at it, and I think this is the shitty part about the whole entire situation is that you could have had 3 top main event matches for this SummerSlam this year. You could have had CM Punk versus Gunther, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. Those 3 matches alone, bro, are incredible. Not counting the triple threat match with Naomi, Rhea, Io Sky, Jade Cargill, and Tiffany Stratton. Possible U.S. title defense from Solo Sikoa. They're going to stack. They would have been, this card would have been incredible with Seth Rollins not being injured, but unfortunately he got injured at Saturday night's main event. But like I said, man, could you imagine Cena versus Rhodes, Punk versus Gunther, Reigns versus Rollins? Wow. You want to talk about a triple threat just in your face, man. That's right there alone. That's a hell of a card. That card right there might surpass WrestleMania 40's card, to be honest with you, or 41. Yeah, WrestleMania 41. Just imagine. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, Seth Rollins is injured, so we're not going to see Seth. We probably will not see Seth at this year's SummerSlam. So, but like I said, man, it's a 2-night event. They're going to stack the deck for SummerSlam. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be the party of the summer. There's a lot of high-profile matches leading into this year's SummerSlam, and I'm excited, man. It's great to see Roman back. Once his music hit, that entire arena, I think they were in Alabama, erupted, man. It was insane. It was crazy. It was a great moment. You can look on the face of Paul Heyman, man. It was priceless. Paul Heyman looked like he literally shit himself off the apron. It was great. You know what I mean? And again, you have to give credit where credit's due, man. Paul Heyman has a great mind for the business, man. He's always in really good, compelling storylines. So you got to give the guy credit where credit's due, or should I say the Oracle. Paul Heyman's great. You know what I mean? Bringing Roman back into the fold of things and see how this is going to play out. It's awesome. Again, even with the matches that we have right now, imagine CM Punk somehow does beat Gunther and he walks out of SummerSlam the World Heavyweight Champion. Is Rhodes going to get the win over John Cena and walk out Universal Champion? Is that a possibility? Is that in the realm of possibilities? Maybe. You know what I mean? Is Rhea Ripley going to beat Naomi and once again become the women's world champion? Possibility. There's a lot of endless options leading into this year's SummerSlam, man. That's why I think this year's SummerSlam is going to be very telling. It's going to be very exciting, and I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. It's going to be an awesome card from top to bottom, both night 1 and night 2 of this year's SummerSlam. And like I said, man, it's the party of the summer, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. But I think the elephant in the room from last night was the return of Roman. And now it's going to be, okay, well, who's Roman going to face off against? Are we going to get a one-on-one match here between Roman and Breakker? Or are we going to get some kind of tag team match here where Breakker teams up with Bronson Reed to take on Roman Reigns and possibly Jey Uso? It's going to be very telling to see what happens here in the next few weeks on Monday Night Raw leading into this year's SummerSlam. And honestly, man, I'm all in for it. I'm locked in. So should be some exciting stuff. But with that being said, this is my review of Monday Night Raw. I hope you guys are out there staying safe. Be careful. And remember, stay classic. Peace.